global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them. Crises precipitate change.
Secretly plotting your demise. I want to devise a...
Hello everyone, Darko 2012 here with Global Government News. I'm reading an article here titled Hundreds More Town Hall Staff to Get Police-Style Powers. Hundreds more town hall staff and private security guards are to be handed police-style powers in a fresh home office drive to create an army of civilian, quote, spies. This was published on March 8th, 2010. And this will be filed under Big Brother / police state. So don't forget to check it out. Recommend it to other people. Although this may be happening in the UK, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen in the United States. Whatever happens over there usually happens here. And if it happens here first, then it'll trickle over the pond to our brothers in the UK. It says almost 1,700 people, also including a car park attendants and dog wardens, already have powers to hand out a string of fines and even take photographs of low-level offenders under the Community Safety Accreditation scheme. But the government has quietly announced its plans to review the scheme with chief police officers to see how it can be expanded further. Rank-and-file officers warn the move is, quote, blurring the lines of legitimate law enforcement and is creating a third tier of policing. And of course, this is for what? This is for when the economy gets really bad and the police who have been militarized have to start taking on working with the military because the military will probably could be out of country because they'll be fighting some phony war for the banks, and so you'll have to have the police, normal police, stepping up as for the military, and then you'll have these wardens, traffic wardens, and that taking on the police's role, and they'll be policing now. And this is all being done by design. This is this is all part of the nice little the nice IMF riot going into receivership stage. And, you can, let's just say it's not all being done by design. There's a very good possibility that this is going to happen. This is going to be the environment when the economy is finally not completely collapsed, but when all the, quote, shit hits the fan, right? Whatever it is that triggers it. Says it will further fuel concerns that with increasing budget pressures, the government is keen to push for policing on the cheap. Under CSAS, a chief constable can give employees of local authorities or private companies limited powers, such as the right to hand out on-the-spot fines for offenses including disorder, truancy, and littering, stopping vehicles for roadside tests, and confiscating alcohol. That's pretty crazy. It says they have their own uniform and badge and can demand names and addresses as well as take photographs of offenders. So it's even scarier. You're giving them badges, There are 1,667 so-called, quote, accredited persons in England and Wales, with 109 organizations, including 31 private companies involved across 26 forces. A further 478 civilians have been given the power to stop vehicles to check for out-of-date tax disc. I'm not sure what that means, registration tags or whatever, but in Britain. But a section buried in recent Home Office neighborhood policing strategy documents read, quote, the Community Safety Accreditation Scheme, or CSAS, is a powerful way for the police to work with partners and to make the most out of other people whose job is to keep their neighborhood safe by giving them a limited range of powers to tackle ASB antisocial behavior. So The government and ACPO, Association of Chief Police Officer, will review CSAS to see how it can be expanded to more forces and organizations. And so, yeah, I mean, this is what's going on in the United States as well. So when I say it's happening over there, it's happening over here as well. You have something called fusion centers that exist in Virginia and another. It's not definitely not across the entire country, but what they're doing here in the United States is they're literally fusing these police departments and fire departments together, and other type organizations where they're kind of merging them so that they're all linked up. And this is all for what they are anticipating, which is some kind of quote disaster, or quote economic collapse, right? And so yeah, they're just binding them all, and they're saying, oh, and how do they sell it to the police departments? They say, you're going to be more efficient if you can communicate with each other. Like the old way is bad because you guys couldn't communicate with each other. I was like, well, not really. They're not really supposed to be communicating with each other, because I mean, we don't want just this huge complex, all merged into one. But anyways, it says the review is to be carried out this summer, but Peter Davies, the Nottinghamshire Assistant Chief Constable and ACPO lead on the CSAS, said, quote, accredited persons do play a part in building safe and secure neighborhoods. However, their role must remain distinct from that of police officers, whose task is to uphold and enforce the law, tackling all forms of harm to the public and communities. So, yeah, in other words, the police will be taking on all that crazy stuff that may occur when you have an environment where people are desperate and that. And then, of course, you have provocateurs, false flag attacks going on as well. Throwing that in the mix. The move also raises fresh fears over the future of policing, especially with chief officers under pressure to cut costs. There are already more than 16,000 police community support officers, and now a growing number of accredited civilians. And, I wanted to go back to what I was saying, because this is also happening in the United States. I posted an article about I believe it was Pittsburgh. It may have been Ohio, but I'm pretty sure it was Pittsburgh, the state, or I'm sorry, the city of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania here in the U.S., where they're called community volunteers. Do you like that? Doesn't it sound so comforting and non-governmental or non-official? They're volunteers, and but no, they're driving in a car that looks like a state trooper car, an authority car with all these antennas flying off. They got little. They got the lights, the flashy lights. I mean, it looks like a regular cruiser, police cruiser. They got uniforms. They're wearing badges, and yeah, they can pull you. They can stop you if you're walking down the street in the rain. They'll be like, oh, that's probable cause. Then they'll stop you and start questioning you. So it's also going on here in the United States as well, and they're rolling it out like it's something great. It's like, no, that's just more police, and it's not going to equal less crime. And that's my opinion. So it says that Simon Reed, the vice chairman of the Police Federation, said, quote, it is just growing out of control. The growth rates are phenomenal. It is blurring the lines between police as a legitimate law enforcement organization and these pseudo-agencies springing up. It says it is effectively a third tier of policing. We are having all these police powers devolve to anyone, and there does not seem to be any boundaries to law enforcement, and where will it end? It says, Dylan Sharp, campaign director of Big Brother Watch, said, those empowered by these schemes don't have anything near the proper training, experience, or respect to try and boss around members of the public. A leaked document last month suggested 1 in 5 police officers could lose their job under cost-cutting measures. Up to 28,000 officers would be replaced by civilian workers, saving hundreds of millions of pounds under suggestions put to a workforce council meeting chaired by ACPO involving the National Policing Improvement Agency. So there you go. That's pretty much it. And yeah, so I mean, what? It's all in the name of cutting costs, and they're gonna get these private contractors in, and people that are not, they're off the books, and they're just going to raise hell because there's going to be no accountability. Thank you.